This is a presentation for the University of New England's graduate course EDU 722. We'll be focusing on an assessment plan for Lake Region High School's response to intervention team. My name is Anna Chiazzo. I'm a teacher at Lake Region High School and have been working in the district for the past 10 years. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at our high school, and I'd like to start by telling you a bit about us. Lake Region High School is located in Naples, Maine. We serve 4 towns: Bridgeton, Casco, Naples, and Sebago. We're primarily a rural district. We currently serve about 544 students, which is a slight decline over the past several years. In terms of other numbers, our current graduate rate at Lake Region High School is 87%. Of those students who graduate, 85% of them go on to pursue higher education. Our attendance rate is around 92%, and our current dropout rate is 3.6%, which includes fifth-year students, of whom we're seeing more of since our switch to proficiency-based learning. 39% of our students are eligible for free lunch, and 28% of our student body live beneath the poverty line. Students receiving special education services make up about 23% of our student body, which is slightly higher than surrounding areas. And we have a very small percentage of English language learners at our high school, making up only about 1%. Today we're going to be looking at assessments, specifically universal screening, as well as tools that we can use for progress monitoring, and additionally behavioral assessment. I would like to start by talking about universal screening, which is basically a tool that we use to identify students who are at risk of learning disabilities. We use this mechanism to identify the students who continue to struggle regardless of any evidence-based strategies we're using in our classrooms. Previously, we had used the Scantron Performance Series as a universal screening tool for grades 9 through 11. However, this year the tool is only being administered to our 9th graders. When we're speaking of universal screening, it's important to note that typically these are brief assessments that focus in on specific skill sets. That's something that the Scantron Performance Series was not necessarily doing for us, and it took quite a bit of instructional time to administer. AIMSweb, however, is a universal screening, progress monitoring, and data management system which supports our RTI process. It uses curriculum-based measurements, which are brief, valid, reliable measures of reading and math performance for grades K through 12. The RTI network suggests that universal screening should be administered to all students, and typically these benchmarks are administered in the fall, winter, and spring. We do that so that progress, or lack thereof progress, over a school year can be noted and addressed accordingly. One of the benefits of AIMSweb and curriculum-based measurements is that the assessments do not take very long to administer. Most of the probes can be administered in under 10 minutes and are either automatically scored online or they take very little time for the teachers to score. The majority of the assessments can be taken online by students, which shouldn't be a problem with our one-to-one technology. However, oral reading fluency does have to be administered one-to-one and manually scored. AIMSweb does utilize curriculum-based measurement, which is a method of brief assessments that we refer to as probes. These probes allow us to determine student skill level and then create our instruction based off of those results. We could administer these in math computation, reading fluency, reading comprehension using the maze procedures, and then we can also administer writing probes to assess students' writing skills. Again, all of these are available online with the exception of the oral reading fluency and writing probes, which you would do manually. Some have had concerns in the past with using programs such as AIMSweb at the high school level, as typically the forms only go up through grade 8. However, most high schools that are using AIMSweb have found that using the grade 8 national aggregates as a point of comparison has been a reliable way to move forward with this process. The other option that we could look into at Lake Region High School is to use the forms for 1 year and then take that first year's data to create our own local benchmarking. Other benefits of AIMSweb is it's very easy to implement with fidelity. It's been proven valid and reliable by researchers. When we talk about progress monitoring, the first step is to identify those students who are at risk by reviewing our universal screening data. After that, we would then take those students and monitor them more closely, typically for a 6-week period of time. During that time, there may be additional progress monitoring, record reviews, classroom observations, or interviews conducted with the student or family. Furthermore, once we've begun that process, progress monitoring and interventions would continue on a more frequent basis, and the student might be flagged for small group or individual instruction during our acceleration blocks or in the learning lab where we have interventionists available to work more intensely with them. And then we might determine that additional diagnostic testing might be necessary to determine specific areas of concern and furthermore guide our instructional practices. There are additional tools that we use to gauge progress aside from AIMSweb. We can also use a program called EasyCBM. EasyCBM Lite is a free online program developed by researchers at the University of Oregon, which was designed to be a part of the RTI model, and it offers over 1,000 benchmark and progress monitoring measures in reading and math. IXL is a program we're already using in some of our classrooms. It is a paid subscription site that offers programming in math, language arts, and social studies. And then there is also Digital ReadWorks, which is another free website that allows us to monitor progress related to reading comprehension. These articles are paired with question sets. It's a research-based program aligned with standards that also has ELL options. Our school has several structures in place that will support this assessment plan. Teachers are currently using Schoology to track student progress in relation to the standards by uploading pacing comments. We have an acceleration block in which students can receive support from any teacher in the building. Academic obligations provide that support after school hours. Our learning lab, which is run by interventionists and also includes an executive functioning component for students. We're beginning profiles this year, and then of course we can always review attendance records and office referrals for more behaviorally or socially related needs. On that note, it's important to remember that looking just at academic variables alone is not enough for us to differentiate between those high-risk students and moderate-risk students. So this is where behavioral assessment comes into play. The Student Risk Screening Scale, Internalizing and Externalizing, is an adaptation of the original SRSS created by Drummond in 1994. The scale was originally developed to detect students at risk of antisocial behavior. The Student Risk Screening Scale involves no costs. It's extremely easy to set up. There are pre-made spreadsheets we can use. It's reasonably quick to complete and easy to score. We look at 12 areas for students, and then teachers use a Likert scale to score them, total up those points to determine a risk level as high, moderate, or low. Again, there is evidence that really supports the reliability and validity across all settings and age groups for this assessment. When we are implementing all of these tools, there are some recommendations that we should take into account. First and foremost, it's critical that we set up testing windows and administer benchmarks to all students to truly begin implementing universal screening. We should also consider using the ELL option offered by AIMSweb, IXL Math, and Digital ReadWorks to address any cultural needs. Additionally, an incentive program should be developed to boost student investment in the assessment process. This could include some sort of school-wide encouragement, posters, any kind of investment model. Let's see. One of the benefits of the tools recommended is that they're fairly easy to administer and require minimal training to implement. This training could easily be addressed during staff workshop times or on late arrival days or even during our faculty meetings after school. Furthermore, it's going to be important that we're communicating with students' homes so that parents understand the importance of these assessments and support their students' efforts. One of the benefits of these tools is they offer very friendly reports that parents will easily be able to understand. All of the recommended tools align themselves well to Hoover's 5 assessment principles. When we're looking at reflecting on students' culture and background experiences, we're really trying to ensure that we're taking into account ecological factors that could affect the decisions being made around assessment. Furthermore, the tools we've chosen have all been proven valid and reliable by research and are easy to implement with fidelity. We also can take into account the choice offered by these tools, which should allow us for higher levels of authenticity and higher order thinking skills if we so choose. Lake Region has implemented numerous interventions and initiatives and structures within our school to address these needs. However, without universal screening tools being consistently implemented, we can't gauge the success of these programs. All of these tools will allow us to really create that authentic assessment piece. It's going to give us the data that we've needed so that we can really ensure that the initiatives we're putting in place, all of the structures that we've set up, are addressing student skills and really meeting the needs of our learners at our high school. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation, and thank you for taking the time to listen.